Happening right now, a former Bay Area teacher on trial accused of having sex with a young fifth-grade student.
She said the sexting and touching were all part of his sexual therapy. It helped the boy deal with problems at school.
But Anderson claims there's another reason for what she did.
You did sexual therapy for a troubled youth, right?
That was my response to it.
Nothing further.
A judge just ruled $50,000 bond for Anderson.
In February of 2012, detectives arrested Ethel Anderson, a 29-year-old teacher at the Mango Elementary School in Riverview, Florida, following an investigation after the victim's mother approached police concerned that her son was having a sexual relationship with his tutor. Ethel Anderson, a 29-year-old teacher at the Mango Elementary School in Riverview, Florida, lived with her husband and 5-year-old daughter. Ethel taught at Mango Elementary School since 2006 and had recently been named the Diversity School Teacher of the Year, which led the parents of a 12-year-old boy to accept her offer for extra lessons at her home in December 2011. Over the next 3 months, the boy's mother started to get suspicious of her son's close relationship to his teacher and notified police. The mother then wore a wire and confronted Ethel, who admitted to having sexual relationship with the boy. The police investigation also revealed that Ethel and the boy exchanged 230 pages of text messages, in which she described in vivid language her lust for the child. Ethel also expressed her anxiety for feeling unattractive because of her weight. In these exchanges, the boy used the name Dirty Dan. No one reading this material would have guessed that Dirty Dan was a 12-year-old kid communicating with one of his public school teachers. The investigation also adds that Ethel engaged in sexual activity with the boy between December 2011 and February 2012, including sexual contact and oral sex. Anderson's husband, Michael, said he was shocked by his wife's arrest. "I'm still trying to wrap my head around what all just happened," he said. Around February 2012, Mango Elementary School 5th grade teacher Ethel Anderson was arrested at her home and charged with 3 counts of lewd battery and 2 counts of lewd and lascivious molestation. The school suspended her without pay, and 8 months later, Ethel Anderson resigned.
Behind this door at her Lake St. Charles home in Riverview, deputies say Anderson crossed the line with a 12-year-old boy she knew who wasn't a student at the school.
I'm blown away. I just don't even know what to say. She's 3 doors down.
Deputies say the mother of the 12-year-old suspected that the teacher, wife, and mother was having a sexual relationship with her son, so she called authorities. Anderson is now charged with 3 counts of lewd battery and 2 counts of lewd or lascivious molestation.
We had no indication that she would do anything like that, if indeed she did.
District spokesperson Linda Cobb says a message will go out to parents, and a crisis team will be on campus to talk to students who have questions about why their teacher won't be coming back to class.
Here at the school, the attention is on the students and helping them make sense of all of this.
Parents dropping off their kids at Mango Elementary School with a lot to think about.
Thank God it wasn't in my daughter's class.
It's disgusting.
And in case their kids have a lot to talk about,
We're here to ensure that the school day goes smoothly.
crisis counselors are here if students have questions about Ethel Anderson, a 29-year-old teacher accused of having a sexual relationship with a 12-year-old boy. This mother is more comfortable talking to her 5-year-old about it herself.
I'm still working on the words to talk to her about it. I would use words like someone did something that was bad, but there's no concern for you.
Before the trial, Ethel was offered a plea agreement of 15 years in prison, but she turned it down, hoping to get no jail time at all. The trial began on September 18, 2013. During opening statements, prosecutor read several text messages to the jury. The prosecutor said Anderson texted to the then 12-year-old, "Tell me you love me because I'm madly in love with you. You keep making me so happy." Read one message, "My heart is seriously pounding right now, thinking about you. I don't want my husband. I want you," said another after the boy said he wanted to have sex with her. During testimony, the boy on his 14th birthday said the abuse started 4 or 5 weeks into the lessons with the defendant. He said, "She would rub my legs, kiss me on my ear, neck, and stuff like that." The boy also said the former teacher touched him and performed oral sex on him. "We could make out and tongue kiss." Prosecutors added that on that recording, the mother taped. She admitted to the sexual acts with her student while she was tutoring him at her home. The boy also told the court that he did not want to lose his virginity to a teacher and would tell her to stop, but she persisted because she wanted him so bad.
Now, we are not showing you the young boy's face or revealing his name because of the nature of the charges. He spent about a couple of hours on the stand this morning, and we can tell you there were some shocking statements describing this alleged intimate relationship. He claimed that Ethel Anderson asked him if he would ever consider having her baby. He also claimed that she told him that she didn't love her husband anymore and wanted to be with him. Prosecutors also released pages and pages of text messages.
Jurors heard from the boy who celebrated his 14th birthday here in this courtroom today, and hearing a recording deputies taped with a wiretap in which Anderson confesses to the boy's mother that she did have a sexual relationship with her son.
However, the defense tried a couple different ways to prove her innocence. First, saying the boy's story doesn't add up. Anderson's attorney, Will Knight, said the youngster was troubled and lied about the alleged abuse. Ethel also claimed the boy would threaten her into doing sexual stuff. She broke down in tears before eventually taking the stand in her own defense. She denied having any sexual contact with the boy and said he threatened to get her in trouble. She said that is when he made the comment, "Keep playing, you're gonna lose your child." She also claimed that the 12-year-old boy had tried to instigate a sexual relationship. Anderson said, "He attempted at one point to grab me in an inappropriate manner. He attempted to kiss me and I pushed him off." Then Anderson admitted to sending the student more than 230 pages of text messages, but she tried to frame the text messages about porn and sexual acts shown in court as just sexual therapy, a fantasy to motivate the troubled student into becoming a better student. She told the court at the time, with him struggling with school and having behavioral issues and anger issues, and not being able to connect with his family the way that he and his parents felt, that was my purpose, to gain his attention, and yes, I did it in an inappropriate way.
That's right, Brendan. In fact, she is on the stand right now. Her name is Ethel Anderson. She's a former teacher with Mango Elementary School, and her taking the stand is certainly a surprise. We did not expect it. But after the prosecution rested its case around 5 today, she started crying openly. And then we noticed that she started to consult with her father. And moments after that, she took the stand.
You knew he was under the age of 16
Yes.
when you had this sexual therapy with him. Is that correct?
When the texting occurred, yes.
For the first time, jurors heard from Ethel Anderson tonight after hearing explicit details of an alleged sexual relationship with the young boy, most of which we can't even air.
Says that he put his fingers. You say no.
No.
And while she admits to sending sexual text messages, Anderson says she never actually had sex or any sort of sexual contact with the young boy. She only wanted to help him become a better student.
At the time, with him struggling with school and having behavioral issues and anger issues and acting out at home and not being able to connect with his family the way that he felt and the way his parents felt, that was my purpose, to gain his attention. And yes, I did it in an appropriate way.
Anderson says the sexual texts were fantasy, but the discussion she had with the boy about his grades, God, and Christianity were all real.
Part of fantasy, sexual therapy for troubled youth.
Correct.
Again, matching. He's told this jury this morning. This fantasy matches what he said happened to him.
This fantasy does, yes.
And that's why she also said that she sent those texts to try to comfort him during that time.
That is something alternate juror Stephen Marshall just did not believe.
She wasn't documenting it. She didn't go over it with the school or the parents. And then it just, I don't know, you don't do that with a 12-year-old.
In addition, in her testimony, Anderson testified she only admitted to sex acts in this secretly recorded confession by the boy's mother, only because that is what she thought the mother wanted to hear.
Apparently there's also, we actually heard it in court, a secretly recorded confession taken by the boy's mother. Anderson is testifying right now that she only confessed because that's what she thought the boy's mother wanted to hear.
Defense attorney Knight, in his closing remarks to the jury, pointed out that the prosecution had not presented one piece of physical evidence proving any kind of sexual contact between his client and the student.
Say there's no DNA and call that little, call it major, call it what you will. It's a fact in this trial.
A science lesson in court for the closing arguments, trying to sway the jury one last time to acquit Ethel Anderson.
Anderson also wept as she asked the judge to think about her own promising past and her daughter's future before imposing his sentence.
Through sobs, she pleaded for mercy during her sentencing Monday.
Despite what the court might see, I'm not a sexual predator. I don't present a threat to our society. I'm a mother. I'm not a monster. I truly wish that none of this had ever happened because all I want is to go back to being Isabel's mom. This is not my life. I keep praying that God's plan in all this was to show me who and what I do have so that I appreciate my life more, to show me that my life does have purpose. I shared all this with you, Judge, in the hope that there must be something that you can see in me. There must be something that shows that I'm worthy of mercy.
His mother also spoke to the court through a letter the prosecutor read.
I know that the law will take care of you the way you need to be dealt with. There were many times during this trial I wish I could have gotten up from my seat to scream, yell, or slap you. I feel like I could tear you apart with my bare hands, but those who know me know that I would never do that. I do not know how somebody like you was allowed to be near children. You have turned me into a very angry and cynical mother.
After less than 2 hours of deliberation, the jury found Ethel Anderson, 31 at the time, guilty of 3 counts of lewd battery and 2 counts of lewd and lascivious molestation.
We, the jury, find as follows as to count 1 of the charge. The defendant is guilty of lewd or lascivious battery engaged as charged.
And with that and a nod from a court deputy, another deputy would come forward and handcuff 31-year-old Ethel Anderson.
Lewd or lascivious battery.
Anderson would be found guilty on all 9 counts. As the guilty verdict for each was read, Anderson's face was emotionless. Her family, sitting in the courtroom, sat mostly expressionless as well. Her father, though, his facial muscles twitching. As for the 12-year-old victim and his mother, both cried as the verdict was read.
As parents, we entrust our children to their teachers. We have every right to believe our children are safe. The judge said, "You, Miss Anderson, are a parent's worst nightmare," then sentenced Ethel Anderson to 38 years in prison. The judge later stated, "There are those that believe that nothing's wrong if the defendant is a woman and the victim is a male. This court doesn't recognize gender. If it's proven as an adult that you had sex with a child, you can expect to go to prison."
You, Ms. Anderson, are a parent's worst nightmare.